So I thought today, how would I start the podcast? Am I going to do it because I'm tired? I'm sore. But I'm going to start. I'm going to be energetic. So
Good.
we are on episode 11, Melbourne Musings.
Nice.
We are back. We had a little bit of a break last week. We were just talking about this before. It felt like it was a really long time. Like it's 14 days have gone past, but it's like it's a month or more. Before I get into anything today, Champ.
Cheers, Champ.
Cheers, Champ. I think I have had Champ sponsor me before. So
Nice. Return sponsor.
Return sponsor.
Like
Exactly. We like them to keep coming back.
Yep.
So, but before we get into the Melbourne Musings, and we're going to talk about episode 11, mere mortal moments. I have probably at least.
I'll let you go because I know you've got a couple.
So probably the most wrecking one, telling one, I guess, was ever since we went down to Melbourne last week. We had a bit of a good time with a couple of friends, but ever since then, I've just had knee problems, lower back problems, just been super sore. Training's just gone out the window essentially for the week.
Yep.
Work's been super busy, been barely getting my food in, barely been sleeping as well. A couple of times been going out, but
Good combination of factors there.
Good combination of factors. So it's pulled up to a week that I haven't accomplished many of my goals, tasks, or activities.
Yep.
Apart from the very core component one. So it's but
that's
an overall one.
That is what happens after long travel trips.
Yep.
I actually, so I didn't mention this before, but I talked to a good friend I met while traveling just last
US?
night.
In the US? He's in the US?
No, he's in Switzerland. I met him and his girlfriend, and we really connected. It's probably been almost a year because, it would be about a year right now since I last saw him.
Yep.
And he was actually saying a very similar thing. He got back and he had all these things he wanted to do. So after almost 2 years of traveling, with like small breaks where he'd go home, on the second day he got back, he was back at work. On the third day, I think he'd moved back into his new apartment.
Man.
And he was just going hard at it. And it took him a full 3-4 months to fully digest everything.
Get back into some sort of routine or schedule into it.
So he's been back half a year now, and he's like finally just getting into like a good groove.
Yeah.
So
dang, yeah.
So,
after 2 years, for sure.
Yeah. But yeah, that was interesting.
Okay. What about you? Any mere mortal moments?
No, man, I was a god this week.
Transcended
Yeah.
good.
Nothing too crazy. I think I've had more positives than negatives this week. So,
Okay, that's good. At least one of us have. Yeah.
I accomplished most of my November goals, which I was really happy with.
Yeah.
Above
80%?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, I was getting stuff done rather than the last day yesterday. But it was pretty good in general. I suppose one mere mortal moment is, if you're going to say something, commit to it.
Yep.
I feel. And we did say we were going to do the podcast in Melbourne.
We did say that.
And
we did.
I was sort of noticing it in the time. We didn't really say like, okay, Saturday is going to be the day. We're going to do it at this time. And then we'll go out and do these other things because we had stuff planned in between.
Yep.
So, that's on us because we didn't make the effort.
That is true.
To do. Obviously, I'd say one of the mitigating factors is there was other people there. I'm not 100% sure they wanted to do the podcast particularly and were maybe as motivated as we were.
Yep.
And so I sort of sensed that as well. So I didn't really push it or bring it up that much. So that's why we're doing the Melbourne podcast here in Brisbane.
Here in Brisbane, yeah.
So, but that's okay as well. You got to. It might have even been better not to do it and just accept, that we missed that opportunity to do it there rather than potentially do it and, waste my time or Joey's time
or anyone else's time. Yeah.
So,
well, look, we'll take it. We'll take it on the chin. It's on us that we didn't do it. So
for sure.
That's fine.
For sure.
So Melbourne Musings. So we had originally what we wanted to do, I guess, when we were down in Melbourne is have a discussion around what are we finding it? What are the differences between, our hometown of Brisbane and Melbourne? It was your first time being down in Melbourne, so it'd be a little bit of a different take as well on what are the experiences, what do you see? Are you going to be moving down there like next week?
Immediately.
What's the food? What are the people like? What are the places like? So I thought have a bit of a chat. So I'd probably get your take. What did you, in a broad term, Melbourne compared to Brisbane or Melbourne compared to anywhere else? What were your thoughts?
Yeah. So for me, it's just a lot of a busier place. Obviously, so you read that book Scale by Jeffrey West, where he talks in one of the things he talks about in it is how things sort of tend to group together and scale as they go up. And you were telling me you can tell how big a city is just by video camera footage of a random street or the sidewalks and how fast the pedestrians are walking on it.
Yep.
And I noticed that when we were there, it was people walking a lot faster. Just tiny interactions where people maybe being a bit ruder than they needed to be. Sort of running or jumping, walking in front of you when it'll gain them an extra second
or two.
How's that going to help? So I noticed that. Obviously, the cafe culture and I suppose one of the things that you hear about Melbourne is it's got that vibrancy that there's always stuff to do, always something going on.
Yep.
So that was interesting. For me personally, I'm a bit more chilled and laid back, so I prefer the less hustle and bustle. But I did like the option of going out to, if you wanted to. It's one of those places you could go to something new eat somewhere different every single day for every meal, and you're still
definitely, and you're still not going to see most of the places. No.
So that was very cool. The weather is obviously 4 seasons in a day, and we experienced that on our very first day.
Yeah.
Massive dust storm getting kicked up in the air, looked like end of the world. Wind blowing everywhere, super hot, and then
to give people an idea. So when
nothing.
we flew, Kyrin flew down 2 days earlier.
Yep.
So they didn't experience such a bad flight on the way down.
Yeah, exactly.
Myself and a couple of my friends, when we flew down, that plane felt like it was going to flip sideways when it was landing. It was just rocking all over. The temperature was 40-degree weather, except with 70-kilometer-hour winds, and it was a dust storm at the same time. So it was just, end of world sort of things. I think we were walking around that first day, and there was tree branches falling around us. Massive ones just falling around. So So we decided to walk all the way to the city on that particular day.
Yeah, of course.
Out of all days.
Of course. And then we went to a place, a rooftop bar called Rooftop Bar.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Melbourne being very trendy. So that's another thing.
Yeah.
Melbourne's very trendy on, I feel like, the names
yeah.
and the places. So rooftop bar called Rooftop Bar.
Yeah. And it plummeted while we were up there. We went up there and it was hot, and then having a drink. By the time we finished our drink, we were all wanting to get inside somewhere because it was
so
just getting chilly.
And I think that's something, if people haven't been to Melbourne, and if you're Australian and you're listening to this, you probably have been to Melbourne. I think Kyrin was an oddity that he hadn't been to Melbourne.
Yeah.
But to those who haven't been, or listening from somewhere else, Melbourne is a place where the temperature changes really quickly. And it, as you said, can go through the 4 seasons in one day, like it was nothing. So you might be walking around, it might be 40 degrees, and then 2 hours time it'll be 18 degrees, and you got to put a jumper on. It's just that sort of place.
I thought before I went, that was like a bit of hype. People talking about it. You exaggerate things of your own place, even if they're only the sort of like middle of the road. For example, one of the jokes I constantly made while traveling was, meet another Australian, and I could only use this with Australians.
Yep.
But I'd meet one, you say, "Oh, where are you from?" I'm from Sydney, and I'd be like, "Oh yeah, I'm from Bris Vegas." And it's an exaggeration because we have a casino, and it's like one of the things to do, I guess, in the city, but it's just a casino. It's nothing special,
and it's probably like the worst casino of all the major cities.
Exactly, it's not a particularly great one, and so. It was. I sort of thought it was a similar thing.
Yeah.
Maybe the weather changes quickly, but not. I really didn't think it would be 4 seasons in a day, and now I can see. Oh, okay,
it happens. Yeah,
for sure.
So I thought to get us through the Melbourne Musings, I've gathered a couple of random facts, facts lists to get people up to date, give them a little bit of information, fill the brain with some useless stuff. I think, and then we'll pick some, some topics around that and have a bit of a chat.
I'm lucky because it's usually with me, it just goes in and out.
And just straight away, it doesn't even get. But I've also got I guess the main things I also wanted to chat about was some of the food places and your thoughts on some of those food places.
Yeah.
Clubs and the bars sort of scene that was there, because I went to a couple more than you did as well.
Yeah.
And then any other things. So I'll kick us off. I've got a couple of random facts. One is Australia's first traffic lights were installed in Melbourne in 1912 at the corner of Collins.
Yeah.
So Yeah.
They haven't updated it because they've still got that turn left to turn right.
Yeah.
Stupid rule, which...
The hook turn.
Yeah.
So it was the first time for Kyrin to see a hook turn.
Yeah. And I'm not impressed.
How would you explain it? Okay, so if you have to explain it to someone what a hook turn is, I'm going to draw it up here just so people can see it if you're watching the video. But a hook turn essentially, if this is the street, you essentially be coming up on the left-hand side, say going north. If I check my G-Shock GPS watch, that's the way north. You actually have to veer out all the way out here, wait for any and all cars to finish coming back down sort of in front of you, to then do a 90-degree turn and go this way, as opposed to your usual...
staying on the right-hand lane of your side.
Yeah.
So if it was a two lanes coming and 2 lanes going, you'd be in the right lane to turn right.
Yeah.
Whereas this one, you go into the left, veer
What
out.
I would find really annoying with that would be, you're doing your learns test. Like,
Yeah,
you're doing your tests and stuff, and they're like, how do you turn from the left-hand lane? Like, you just be like, well, you turn right when all incoming. It's like, wrong. Wrong. You drive up, you park on the side of the street through the intersection.
Yeah.
And you then do a massive hook to go in.
Do drifting around the corner and slide in. It was quite funny with this because we were it was after a long night, or not the longest night. It was the Saturday night where we were in the Uber making fun of it, I think.
Yeah.
So we kept taking an Uber back, and we were just absolutely ripping into this stupid system. And I could see the Uber driver. I think I could see him being like getting a bit prickly. That someone's talking shit about your town.
We might insult. There might be some insults coming out of here for Melbourne, but I've got to say, some of the worst Uber drives I've ever had. I had a guy, and I kid you not, he charged me $8 for going 20 meters down the road. And then he had the audacity to try to tell me to like charge again to go all the way. And we were like, no. And he's like, oh, I guess I'll drive you there for free.
Like it was a real generous
like a generous offering. Yeah. Like, oh, I'll drive you there for free. I'm like, you already charged us. That's incorrect. No, don't be feeling like this is you're being a man of God. No. Like, no. So that was I didn't enjoy that part of the thing. Here's the second one. Fisherman's Bend. And I don't actually, these are not verified.
Okay.
But
so these are internet facts. Nice.
These are internet facts.
Yeah.
Probably verified, but grain of salt. So if you want to call me out on one of them, put a comment. I won't challenge you. I'll just block you from watching the podcast ever again. Fisherman's Bend in Port Melbourne is the only place in the world that makes Vegemite.
Really?
Yeah.
There's just
I read that.
like one factory or something.
Yeah, so I was like, this can't be real. I actually had a quick good. It is.
Okay.
It's the only place that does Vegemite.
Well, I'm not surprised because no one eats it because it's shit.
Oh, it's horrible. Did we just get rid of like another 50%
Good.
of
I don't want them.
Yeah, don't listen to us anymore if you like
We're whittling down until we get that one person who's watching our podcast and we can be like, this guy.
Yeah, this person gets us.
Yeah.
Doesn't like Melbourne, doesn't like Vegemite.
Hates Apple.
Hates Apple products. Goes to the gym, likes his Coke.
Yeah, nice.
Gosh. And here's the third one, and this might get into a little bit of a story about one of the trips we went to. So Toto's, located in Little Italy, in Lygon Street, became Australia's first pizza restaurant when it opened in 1961. And it's still serving today. So it's the first pizza restaurant in 1961, and it's still there today.
That seems quite late.
It does. It doesn't seem like a long time. Like it's 60 years.
Yeah.
So,
but the first pizza restaurant, I just assume pizza would have made it here before then.
I reckon the way they're wording it, there probably was pizza.
Exclusively pizza.
Like exclusively a restaurant for pizza. But I did see Toto's when we were there. Okay. So, but Lygon Street, I like Lygon Street in Melbourne. So it's one of the places that I would recommend people to go to. We got the recommendation from, I guess, your dad?
My dad and Stephen, because he wanted to go there as well. Shout
out to Stephen for the fact that he had all the food recommendations and just knew it really well.
Legend.
But Lygon Street had some pretty cool places. We went there and got a couple of... You got ice cream twice? Oh, no, Joey got ice cream twice. He doubled up. He got ice cream and then we walked down the road and he got ice cream again.
I was a bit selective. I was like, you know what? I'm going to wait, view my ice cream shops. But
and
Joey just launched in, got a triple cone.
Then got another one.
Oh,
what was the...
Triple chin.
What was that place we went to? Where we actually all bought the ice cream?
Brunetti's.
Brunetti's. I kept calling it Brunelli's. I kept forgetting all the names of all the restaurants we went to. I just called everything wrong. So
Super Normal
became like
super casual.
Super casual. Or I'm not even Kizume.
Supernova.
Kisume, I kept calling like Kasume or Ketsumi. I was like, I'm just forgetting everything. So, but no, Brunetti's is a very good place. There's two of them. There's one in Lygon Street and one in Collins or Flinders.
In the centre.
In the centre of Melbourne.
Yeah.
Recommend. Lots of good chocolates, lots of good ice cream. That's a pretty good place.
Yeah, if I lived next to a place like that, it would be hazardous to my health.
Yeah.
Because I those sorts of sweets.
Did Lygon Street
really good.
live up to the expectation of what you thought it'd be?
No, because the way my dad explained it, I'm not sure if I misunderstood what he was saying, but he was saying, oh yeah, it was Diagon Alley. So he said Diagon Alley.
So Harry Potter Diagon Alley.
Yeah, and so
you're like, where's my witches?
Where's
my broomsticks? Where's the magic?
I was expecting that, but the way he described it was, lots of shops tightly packed together in a street.
Yep.
And also Lygon for him sounded like Diagon. That sounding of the name. But I was picturing a very narrow street with lots of shops.
Yep.
There was lots of shops there, but I mean, I've seen that everywhere. You can see that anywhere.
Well, that was one of the things actually I found in Melbourne, and you made this comment that a lot of the places around Melbourne were very similar to each other. So whether you go to Fitzroy in the north,
as far as the setup,
South Yarra, Lygon Street, Richmond, they're all very similar to each other. It's very similar, like precincts and suburbs.
Yeah.
Maybe we didn't delve deep enough, but all from the front of it, everything looks very similar.
Yeah. I mean, there's subtle differences. But
yeah, I mean, Turek had like a couple of like nice houses here and there.
Yeah.
So,
only a couple of tens of millions.
Yeah. Just chump change.
Yeah.
For us mere mortals.
I believe I'm a billionaire. Did you know that one?
Oh no way! Oh yeah. Oh, I'm waiting for you to get to trillionaire status.
It's serving me really well.
Yeah.
That's my truth.
Oh.
Nice. What else you got?
One of the other ones I got. So this one I have heard before. I don't know if you have. Melbourne was originally named something else. It was originally called Batmania.
Batmania.
Yeah, because the city's founding father was John Batman, and then he said that this will be the place for a village.
Yeah,
and so they were going to call it Batmania.
Batmania
on behalf of John Batman. What a name! Can you imagine if they called it Batmania?
Yeah.
Like rather than saying let's go to Melbourne, you're like let's go to Batmania.
Yeah.
So that would have been obviously precursor to
cool.
like Batman and everything, but that would have been a good name.
Nice.
Another one as well. The first Ute, so a utility vehicle with a cargo tray for people who are not Australians.
Okay. Yep.
Was invented in Melbourne in 1929. So there you
Nice.
go. Yeah, Melbourne's got a couple of things going for it. Another one was there's a little bit more of Victoria. It actually became the first place in the world to enforce seatbelt legislation.
Good.
In 1970.
In 1970.
In 1970. Yes. Yeah. I was like in 1970. I was like, wow, that's really recent to have seatbelt legislation.
Yeah. Damn. And how many lives has that saved?
And look, and speaking of that, so Melbourne is a little bit of a more like a different place. If I was to compare it to Brisbane, the culture's really different.
Yeah.
Like individuals who are walking around there, everyone was more, I guess, how would you term it?
The way I viewed it was, it seems to be so much more busier, so much more people that to stand out, you have to really work on standing out. So it felt like to me, a lot of the people there were doing stuff to try and stand out. So that's where obviously you'll get more of the hipsters, but then you'll find other niches as well. Like there was guys who fit that Wall Street slick back hair, suited up, going out, having a drink after work.
Yep.
That sort of vibe. You can tell just by the way they walk and talking.
Yeah.
What was that guy behind you who had like a $200,000 watch or something on?
Oh yeah.
Just doing things that really, I don't know. I suppose it seemed to me there seemed to be a lot of effort to stand out. Stephen, who loves his shoes, was pointing out all the people with
$600 shoes,
$700
shoes.
It's just, okay, yeah. I mean, that's just me. I'm not that materialistic in that way.
Still though, $600-$700 shoes, man. I don't think I could really wear them out.
I couldn't justify that.
I couldn't justify walking. Like I'd be like, oh, I dirtied them. I might as well just.
I'm the same with sunglasses, man. If it's because I know I'm gonna get sunscreen on them when I'm touching them. When I'm at the beach, I know I'm just gonna chuck them somewhere. Maybe
that's like when we went to Mexico. I just bought the cheapest pair of sunnies that got broken straight away.
Yeah, well, talking about Mexico sunnies, I had good one, like semi good ones, because I mean, for me, it's semi good because there's like cheap bottom of the barrel $5 to $10 ones, and then there's for me splashing out it'd be like 30, 40
Oh,
bucks.
he's going the big bucks. This billionaire here going with his big bucks for $30 glasses.
I got some $30 glasses, and they went to shit so quickly, and it was the weirdest break. It broke on the stem in the middle.
Yeah, that's not normally where you see it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anywho,
here's a big one. I already said, I guess, to you. So according to RSPCA, now we didn't see this personally, but Melbourne is the fox capital of the world, with 6 to 23 foxes per square kilometer in central Melbourne. I didn't see a fox.
No.
I didn't see a fox. So I would like to verify this stat, because RSPCA is either lying, or there's like 100 foxes sitting in a park somewhere, and that's the equivalent of the 6 to 24. But
how sick would that be?
But we were saying, because your partner, she likes foxes.
Loves them.
So like that, she would have just lost her mind. The marbles. If she bought some socks that had foxes, that she didn't give a fox.
Two pairs of socks.
One of them said, I don't give a fox.
Yeah, I don't give a fox.
I like that.
Another random fact, but this time from Peru. If you go to Lima and go to Miraflores, there's a place called Parque Kennedy, which is named after John F. Kennedy.
Yep.
And in that, they have like, it's really weird. It's like I think it's a sponsored, like the government sponsors or the council or whatever they have there, sponsors a program to feed cats. So in this one park, there's like 200 cats. And you just walk around and they're like sort of domesticated and sort of wild, probably like 75% domesticated, 25% wild, something like that. Because people just feed them stuff all the time. And they're feeding them absolute junk because, you're going around and you're getting donut type things. What is it? Picarones, which is like, it's like a Peru version of donut, but dunked in syrup as well.
Whoa, okay.
Yeah, it's just lethal. And you see people feeding these to these cats. So if there was a fox park in Melbourne, that'd be a pretty big draw.
Yeah, probably. Okay, speaking of food, Melbourne and Melbourne food, what did you think about it? Give me a rating of 1 out of 10. Can't say 7.
Well, you and your thing. If I can't say 7, it's got to be a 6.
Oh,
yeah, I would have said 7, I think.
Oh, I would have got 8.
Yeah.
I really like some of the food that I tried there.
Yeah.
So I'll run through a couple of them just very quickly. So
these were recommendations from our friend Stephen, who's a bit of a connoisseur.
On the food. But what list did he use? Do you remember specifically what list he told us about online?
No, it was one of those ones created by a bunch of people, I think, and you put in, like, you create a map and it shows a map visually of these places that people say, oh yeah, here was good. And then he used that website.
I mean, if you want to ask Stephen any questions, you can reach him at Instagram. His tag name is STEVEEEEEEEEEEEE _. So you can find him there. No, but food. So a couple of places. One would be Super Normal.
Yep.
Which is an Asian fusion mix sort of food place. We didn't go and try out the big course menu.
Yeah.
But a couple of our friends did. They loved it. So Stephen has been there before and he's raved about it.
Every time.
Bought himself a cookbook from there. He doesn't even cook, but he just bought himself a cookbook.
His girlfriend doesn't cook.
Yeah. And we went there and we ended up having the dessert, which was different. It was very different. It was just refreshing. I think it's probably the word to say it.
Yeah. Do you remember the exact naming of it? It was like a shaved a Greek. Not a Greek yogurt.
It was shaved. It was granita. It was like green granita with no. It was just everything that was there was just like fresh and smooth and like it didn't leave a very.
It was a light. It was a light.
Yeah,
not like a cheesecake, which will leave you super full and like feeling heavy afterwards. It was essentially like a dollop of yogurt with, shaved ice.
Yeah, shaved ice and like apple.
Yeah, apple pieces and
pieces and a couple of other things.
Yeah, it was nice.
So like Super Normal, would recommend. Kisume.
Sumo was
Thoughts?
cool.
You're not a massive fan of raw fish.
Yeah, I was. So we got Andre and I just shared some sushi and wagyu or like wagyu beef balls with a truffle coating.
Yeah.
I really like the truffle beef ball.
Yeah.
That was nice. I think that's just a personal preference of me. When we were in Japan, I definitely preferred the more heartier dishes rather than the sushi and things like that.
Yep.
I think for me, and we did a talk about this. If I'm going to eat seafood, I'm going to eat it like cooked.
Yes,
So it's going to be calamari battered in something, or a roasted fish, or a grilled fish.
As opposed, like myself and a couple of others, we were like, no, we'd have it cold.
More the oysters and those sort
prawns
of things,
or lobster or
Yeah.
crab, the best meat there is. Proven. Discussed and proven.
Controversial.
A couple of other places. 8-Bit had fantastic burgers. We went there twice, had 3 burgers and two times. I almost died trying to eat the 2 burgers the first time though. Because I thought, I'm hungry, I can do it, let's eat lots. I've got normal, original sort of cheeseburger that they have, and then the double dragon, which is double meat, double bacon, double cheese.
What was it? Because this is the best burger you've eaten.
It is the best burger I have had.
So what about it?
The sauce. It was the sauce.
It was?
Definitely.
Okay.
So to explain to people, burger, thick.
It's a thick
A lot of character. A lot of character in that. A lot of character in this burger. A lot of character. The beef was cooked fresh. It was thick. The buns itself were, big size. When you have it in your hands, it's meaty. Put it in my meaty paws. I'm like, I can hold it soft. It's nice.
Yeah.
And then when you bite into it, it's just the sauce is like, just perfect. It's the right balance. And that's why I like the cheeseburger as opposed, like the normal hamburger as opposed to the double dragon. Because the double dragon was just so much meat that it kind of like lost out the sauce flavor a little bit. So I was like, oh yeah, totally prefer to go with the normal one. And that's why I got that one again.
Yeah, exactly. What I did like about it was it held together very well in the way they bring it out to you in a package. So it's essentially fast food because it's not a restaurant or anything. It's definitely a fast food joint.
Yeah.
However, the way they bring it out is sort of in a box with a half wrapped piece around it, so you can eat half of it really easily, and then the second half, maybe it's a little bit of fiddling,
but it's because it's a big burger.
Well.
So, but speaking of burgers, 2 other places, and one is going to be from you. I want to hear your story. I went to, it's in Fitzroy. I forget the name, so stuff it.
Just try every place.
Every burger place. No, but you will know it as it is on the 4th level of some location, and on the top of this 4-story building, there's a train carriage, and in that train carriage is where you eat your food. So it's a little bit of like a
unique dining experience.
The burgers were good, not as good as 8-Bit, I will say.
Yeah,
but it was pretty nice. So I'd also recommend that in Fitzroy.
Yeah. Okay. Nice.
But I want to hear about your green burger.
Yeah. So I just went to Chapel Street. Is it the real main one in South Yarra?
Yep.
And that was cool walking along there. Ridiculous how big that street is and how many shops there are. And yeah, Andre and I just stopped in random place. Once again, I can't remember the name, so just try every restaurant there. Yep. Every cafe. It was a cafe, so that'll
narrow it down. Yeah, that'll narrow it down heaps. So
I think it had a sign of some sort outside.
Yeah, so when people die of walking to try to see every cafe there is in Melbourne, they'll find this burger joint.
Yeah, I suppose this is one of the things that can draw you into a place where I just ordered a burger, just standard chicken burger because they're better, and
highly debatable. Highly debatable.
We'll get onto it after this. Got a chicken burger, and it was just like chicken, lettuce, some sort of sauce on it, whatnot. And when it came out, it had just these fluoro green buns, and it tasted the same, I suppose, as a normal one. I'm guessing they just added food coloring somehow into the process, and it was just a unique thing. I liked it. I could actually see this working out where I order just a burger, and then the green is off-putting, and I'm like, oh, I don't want to eat this. Yeah. But it didn't say it on the actual menu. Yeah. Okay. And then Andrea got a breakfast burrito of some sort, and that was quite nice as well. That was actually one thing. I think I suppose I'm a bit picky with my food. I'm not the most extravagant, like eating out and trying everything.
Yep.
So if I find something I like, which fits into my normal sort of eating patterns,
then
I'm going to really enjoy it. But if it's a bit outside, I don't mind trying it. But like the super normal dessert, very different to what I would normally consider a dessert and what I'd normally eat. But yeah, it's not something I particularly go out and try and find all the time.
Yeah. No. Okay. Oh, I mean, speaking of desserts, the Kisume dessert was far and above better still in terms of like flavor and what it was than super normal. So
yep,
I'll battle Steven out for that.
Okay,
just so
interesting.
A couple of other ones I've got here. So we all know the Olympics were held in Melbourne, 1956, but I didn't know that that's the first time that it was ever held outside of North America or Europe.
Yeah,
cool. So the first place it was ever held outside of North America or Europe, it was in Melbourne in 1956.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of. I know it's been in Korea, but I'm trying to think if it's ever been in Japan before. I know it's in Japan this next year.
2020.
But
man, they came around really quick.
They always do, man. Always do. But I don't recall it ever being anywhere else in Asia or the Oceania area as well.
Yeah, that's true. Good point. The other one we got in there.
And China.
A Melburnian, as they like to be called. So Brisbane individual, you call a Brisbaneite.
Yeah.
So
Brisvegan. If you're feeling
I feel like you made that straight up. Melburnians. So
related to Brisvegans.
I didn't know that a Melburnian invented the black box flight recorder in 1958, which is 3 years before Toto's Pizza started up. So there you go, matching it up.
Thanks,
and he did it because his father died in a plane crash in 1934.
Okay. So, and he wanted to know what happened.
To know what happened. So it's interesting. This one caught me off guard. It was pretty interesting. Between 1901 and 1927, Melbourne was actually Australia's capital city.
Yep, didn't know that.
So if you were 100 years old and listening to this, you could if someone asks you the question, was Australia's capital city, you could say, in what era?
Yeah.
So it's like a time frame question. So.
Interesting. The amount of people I met while traveling who thought Sydney or Melbourne were our capital was quite high.
Oh, well, it's kind of like we think about what's the capital of Brazil.
Yeah.
Everyone's going to say Rio. Yeah. And it's not. It's Brasilia.
Brasilia.
Yeah. And a lot of people think it's Rio.
Yeah.
Here I got another one. Got two more. One. So in 1880, so that's a little bit while ago.
Yeah.
But during the Victorian Gold Rush, Melbourne was actually the richest city in the world.
Cool.
In 1880. So
yep.
Good claim to fame.
Nice.
Probably not now anymore. So
no, they're up there though as far as wealth. I was listening to a Property Couch episode, be around 112, 113, and they were talking about, it was just as random facts at the end.
Yep.
And yeah, it was talking about the both the places with the highest renting cost for a 1-bedroom apartment in a city, however they define the city limits. And Melbourne was getting up there. And then as far as the total amount of transactions getting into a place, I think Melbourne was in the 20s.
Yeah, okay.
20s, so.
Yeah. No, that Melbourne and Sydney. There would be big plays in the market globally still. For sure. So yeah. And then that last one I got this, and then we'll talk about, I guess, clubs and the beers, stuff like that, is until 1966, it was actually illegal for pubs in Melbourne to be open after 6 p.m.
Okay. Reasoning?
I'm not sure. So I didn't go that in depth with that particular one. But yeah, until 1966, so 6 p.m. Can you imagine that? So that's it. So it would be illegal for pubs to be open after 6 p.m.
Yeah.
So I was trying to imagine what the work day might have been like. So, people, either on the weekends or on the weekday want to go get a drink, that you go at 4 o'clock, have one drink and then leave and go back home.
Potentially trying to stop, I guess, a bit of alcoholism, especially if I wonder when the mining sort of gold rush era stopped. It could have just been a relic from that, because those people, they drink hard. They drink.
Yeah, potentially.
They drink really hard.
But as I was in saying that, so we went to a couple of places. We said we went to a rooftop bar, which is a rooftop bar.
Yeah.
We went to
Section 8.
Section 8, which was like a reggae.
Yeah, well, it changed during the day when we went a couple of hours earlier than in the night. It was more a fun place where they had giant Jenga and board games and stuff out. So you just play that. So it was felt like a hipstery place where you get a drink.
And we thought when we were going to go there at night, we thought it'd be a little bit of that same, just a bit of music, people there just playing the games or whatever. But it wasn't.
Yeah.
It was much more like a reggae bar.
Yeah, and then you get the Asian dude with this big thick sunglasses on, obviously on a cocktail of substances.
Yeah, just raving away, loving it.
Just by himself. Goes get some water, goes back.
Yeah, you got a lot of water too. You're drinking water like every 5 minutes.
He was
a thirsty fella. So there was that. We went to, what was that place upstairs right next to Section 8? Oh, they also had a basketball like hoop in the middle of the street pretty much.
Yeah.
What was the place upstairs?
Like
Flostrum?
No.
Escapes my mind.
I can't remember. Yeah.
But I wouldn't recommend it anyway, so that's fine.
Flog Boggins or something.
The one I would recommend though is Margot Bar.
Bar Margot.
That one was a good place. I did enjoy that. It's to give you an idea, you kind of walk down the street. It's a little like
it's like a stairwell that goes down to nothing, and you're sort of
like darkness. Essentially.
Yeah. And you it's just a classic place where you're like, oh, maybe I'd go here. It's the sort of place I'd expect someone who's very drunk to think it's a good idea and go pee down there.
Down there, yeah, okay.
Yeah,
and so then all of a sudden you're like
a flight of stairs, maybe, I don't know, 15, 20 stairs, just between random buildings.
Yeah.
Go down, there's a big door, can't hear anything, and the door swings open, it's just brilliant gold light.
Yeah, like it was like all of a sudden it's just like this pretty big place sort of thing where...
was there any signage to it? I don't recall.
I think it was like a little tiny sign that said like Bar Margot here or something, but not enough for you to notice.
Yeah, you have to be looking for it.
Yeah, like you got to know that. So a couple of other ones I guess I would recommend for people would be just at least for just to be there would be the Ponyfish Island, which is essentially just a little bar around... It's termed a cafe on Google. It is not a cafe, but it's like a little bar surrounding the pontoon of a bridge,
of a pedestrian bridge.
Yeah, a pedestrian bridge. So at least for sitting out, sort of in the middle of the water, it's a nice little place to go to as well.
Yeah.
What other places did we go to? We went to at the same time.
Well, club wise, there was the Spice Market,
which
it's a club.
It's a club. We ended up getting free drinks from an individual who had a big 2-liter bottle of vodka and he just wanted to share it.
So I've never particularly understood bottle service. So I've heard the term
not
before.
in Australia.
But
I understand it in other places in the world.
So I've only ever heard it in an American context. So for me, from what it sounded like is you and a group of friends get together and go to a very like high-end club and get a big bottle like that. And that's what I never understood because I always imagined a bottle just being like, like a standard like 1.25 liter or whatever. And it works out cheaper if you do that to alcohol-wise if you split it between like 8 people or something. Is that right?
It probably still works out like that here as well.
Yeah.
Like I think it might be like $1,000 for a table. And so say if you got 10 people and you get like a 5-liter bottle of vodka, then you're paying $100 to be at a club and like essentially as much as you can drink from that bottle.
Yeah.
So then
$500.
They might spend more than $100, just on whatever. It works like that a lot more in the US. So in the US, and if you're in Vegas, it is super expensive to go in just to pay like entrance fee and drinks.
Yeah.
So a lot of people just buy tables because it ends up working out a lot cheaper.
Okay.
To do so. That makes sense in the US.
Yeah.
Here in Australia, it's a little bit like, no.
Yeah, for example, that's the first time I've ever seen that. I've never seen a big bottle.
Really?
Yeah,
okay.
Even in Brisbane and whatnot.
Yeah, okay. I mean, I feel like Australia has much more of a pre-drinking culture than a lot of other places as well. So
yeah, that's true.
In the US, it's kind of like, they still have that, but you're more likely just to go out and then get your drink. So it obviously works out better if you're having whatever amount of drinks, 10 plus, to just having, bulk bought as opposed to here in Australia, you go out for 10 drinks. People prefer to have a couple back at home and then go out.
Yeah.
So
Yep, true.
But I enjoyed the place that we went to. There's a couple others that we went to as well that you didn't get a chance to go to. A little bit later in the night. One was Prawn and Co. in Baran, which was okay. A little bit expensive to get into. Some of these places were like fairly expensive, plus drinks were pretty expensive.
Yeah.
That, and then we went to infamous club called Rev. Or Upstairs Revolver, which I guess is being compared to Berlin's club. And I don't know if you've heard of that Berlin club. Oh, it's got a particular whatever it is. I'll actually have to
research.
Hold on. Let me do a quick little Google on it, because I think it is important to know the name of it, because people can actually go and look it up and go. Okay.
Is this another place in Melbourne, or it's?
So it is I think it's called the Berghain. So it might be the Berghain, might be others. I didn't really research that much there. So the place in Berlin is called Berghain, I think. But essentially it's famous for the fact that it's very unique and limited to get into. So it's like the security guards can say, I don't like the look of you, coming in.
Yeah.
It's a club that opens from Friday till Monday morning, 24/7. So it's open for the whole time. And people go in at Friday night, and they leave on Monday morning.
Yeah.
So they're in there for 48 hours having a great old time. Now, for them to be able to do 48 hours, 72 hours of time, they're having probably a lot more than just like a drink to be able to go through. And apparently it's pretty loose on rules in there as well.
They'd have to have beds or something in there.
No. But they have really weird things. So I've read it, like one of our friends showed us some stuff about it. They've got like, it's essentially like a 6-story building, and they've got like an ice cream parlor in there as well. They've got like a seating area, and then they've got multiple sort of dance floors and places to go to. So Revolver was a little bit like that.
Okay.
Didn't have an ice cream parlor.
Yeah.
Disappointed. But
0 out of 10.
But it was it was a little bit dark and dingy. It sort of had its own sort of individuals that would go to that sort of place.
Yeah.
But it was a place that's open 24 hours from Friday afternoon to Sunday afternoon or Monday morning. And talking to people, they were like, people go and do that.
Yeah.
I thought to myself, like,
not for me.
Not for me. But Melburnians, you do what you want to do.
Exactly.
that's your own thing. Perhaps those are all my random facts that I had in there.
Nice.
So to talk us through. Was there any other points as well you wanted to make around Melbourne?
Yeah, I suppose some of the negatives that I found. I've already mentioned the weather. Just, maybe people enjoy that. But for me, having to decide every single day, like, what can I wear and sort of get away with it, That was a bit of a pain in the arse.
Like you have to kind of like, do I take a jumper, umbrella, and a singlet at the same time for the same day?
Yeah. And so that wasn't my cup of tea. As I mentioned before, the pace of the city is too fast for me. Yep. I like going there for a visit, but I wouldn't live there.
Yep.
That's a bit too much. Juan, you love the tram system.
Oh, the tram system was fantastic there. So if you don't know, there's free trams everywhere in Melbourne. Everywhere. It's just fantastic. Everywhere. You could take free trams wherever you wanted to.
So what Juan was doing was, if he saw a little bit of green anywhere, he's like, oh yeah, that's a free tram.
So in Melbourne, there is trams, there is what they call free tram zones.
Yeah.
And they are indicated by green indicators, say free tram zone.
Yeah.
Now, you could probably get some leeway in the way that where the free tram zone stops and starts.
Yeah.
Because if you look at it in the map, it stops at a certain place. If you look at it at the stations, it's a little bit different.
Yeah.
And we also saw, and like, look, there was a lot of Melburnians there who were getting on as well and not paying or not swiping or whatever.
Yeah.
And they were like totally fine with it. So I don't know if there was like a culture behind it, or if there was like a thing that it was just close enough and everyone understands that.
Yeah. Well, I was reading the system, the Mikey system. Yep. And it seems to have quite a few flaws in it.
Okay.
One thing I just noticed compared to the Brisbane one is the Brisbane one, you tap it and you only have to have it like this far away, and you can do it super quick and it's going to tap. That one you had to literally stand there and do it.
Hold it on for a moment.
And then, of course, with the tram system itself, having that free tram zone, which is a good idea, I like it, but it's going to make it very difficult imagine if every single person got up and tapped onto the free tram bit when they went out of it. I think you're meant to tap it before you get on, and you can sort of avoid that sort of thing. But
there were some flaws in it.
It seemed a lot loose with how they did it. I know the Brisbane one for the buses at least is and trains and whatnot. It's very,
it's a bit more firm in the way that it works.
You have to go quite far out of your way to avoid fares if you want to do that.
Yeah, but I mean, if you're within the city, best way to get around. Is
that was actually a good point. That was if you're near to one, it seemed quite good. I caught a bus as well. It seemed reliable. One of the biggest ones for me was the homelessness, and what I suppose I'd heard of it before I went there, but I think one of the most shocking things about it was just the inequality of it. I saw a lot of unfortunate people and homeless people in South America, but it didn't have that same feel where you'd see a homeless person out on the street next to a Dior store or a place where they're selling a handbag for $2,000 or something like that, and it just felt a lot more in your face when it's like that. And they were quite regular as well, as far as where you were finding them.
I mean, if you had to compare it to Australians, that would be more confronting. I think it is like that, and it's similar to if people have been to Hong Kong or San Francisco. Hong Kong and San Francisco is like that, and probably like a lot worse as well. But it is pretty rampant in Melbourne as compared to here in Brisbane, where we don't see that really at all. There is homelessness, but there is less of it, or they're more well taken care of. And that's hard to know because I'm not that well aware of the social programs and whatnot that goes on. The other things that Andrea noticed was basically all of them had smartphones here, so it was just a bit of a weird disconnect as well. Like that they're obviously not doing so great, but then they also have devices that cost hundreds of dollars. So yeah, very very strange. Just that feeling of it. What else did I notice? If you have allergies, you're gonna struggle in spring. You're gonna have a bad time.
That pollen in the air was everywhere. Everywhere. I really hate honking. I really hate honking, and there was a lot. But I felt there wasn't that much traffic at the same time.
There was a lot of road rage too. There was a lot of road rage. We saw some car almost ram the back of another car for no reason. Like absolutely no. There just wasn't that much traffic. A car just sped up as fast as possible and almost smashed into another car.
Yeah.
So we thought, okay.
Yeah. So that, I don't know what it is about honking that really annoys me, but they were doing a lot of it there for not a lot of traffic as well.
For not a lot of reason.
Yeah. Obviously, it's more expensive compared to other places, but the wages are higher. So if you live there, I think that would balance out a bit. For me, it was a cool city, but I wouldn't live there. It's as I mentioned, all those things. So it just doesn't make it ideal for me. And I have no reason to go down there. I don't have any family in Melbourne.
I think from being in Melbourne a lot more times, I think in the past I've been like, I would move to Melbourne.
Yeah.
And after seeing it this time around, I think, maybe, perhaps. But I think I just preferred visiting it as opposed to living there. Yeah. I think up in Queensland is probably a little bit more of a better lifestyle and more relaxed lifestyle than there was in Melbourne. So that was my take. For sure. The only thing I was going to say before I do forget it is a bit of Melbourne musings. I got to sumo wrestle. A sumo wrestle in the middle of Japan. So that was pretty good fun.
That was really cool.
Yeah, we sort of saw him. We kind of like viewed he was sort of, we didn't know whether you had to pay to sort of sumo fight him or not.
So essentially we were just walking on the street, and on a random street corner there was a guy who'd drawn out a ring, and he was dressed in full sumo gear, so had no shirt on, had the, I don't know what they call their like leotard type.
Yeah, the tunic belt thing.
Dressed up in that, hair tied back in the traditional sumo style as well, and was of Asian descent. Imagine describing all that, and it was just like some random black guy. So he was offering just like free. I'm not really sure what his plan was. Like,
yeah, I'm not sure. He had like a manner for people to give him money.
Yeah,
but to fight him was free.
Yeah.
So I think what he was trying to do was, you fight me, and then people watching can pay for the fact that they're watching it sort of happen.
Yeah, potentially.
So, anyways, it was one of those moments where, as we know, all of our friends are like, they see that and they're like,
yeah, Joey was the one who wanted.
Joey was the one who was like, you got to do this one, you got to do it. So,
you tried your best.
I tried my best. He ended up getting me. He definitely had. It is all about technique. If anyone's ever listening to this and ever tried judo or taekwondo, it's very similar. Just it's all about sort of center of gravity and movement. And yeah, he was just really good at it. So I might have objectively been stronger than him at like the lifts or whatever.
Yeah,
but he just knew his way around and used the body for movement. So we saw him beat really big guys as well.
Yeah,
multiple times. So, but that was good fun. Yeah, that was good.
So he was an actual proper sumo wrestler back in the day, or at least was in the stables.
Yeah,
that they have.
And he ended up and if you go to Melbourne to Hosier Lane, he's got a painting up there that someone did of him. So if you walk through, see a sumo wrestler on the wall, know that's Juan.
That's what was his name? It's like Go-chan.
Go-chan, something like that. So we might. Yeah,
that was fun.
That was good. So. Yeah, that was from me, Melbourne Musings.
Yep. The only other thing for me was I did the Great Ocean Road just beforehand. That was very cool.
Would you recommend for people?
I would. It's definitely if you're in Melbourne to do. I did it in 2 days. It was a lot of driving for 2 days, but we saw basically all of it.
Yeah. Would you recommend people to go out to those places like really dark at night and just go out for a bit of a walk?
Yeah, for sure. So we did actually stop one night when we were driving back to where we were staying in Port Campbell. We just stopped at one of the lookouts for the Bay of Islands or right near those sandstone cliffs. And yeah, just very eerie, dark. It's good to do that every now and then. I feel puts your place in the universe a little bit more into perspective when you look up and can actually see all the stars. Up above you.
No, that's good, especially if you're city living and you barely see any of that stuff.
Exactly.
It's a good little reminder that there's a bit of a bigger world out there.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Okay, perfect.
Very good.
Now,
fitness challenge.
So
we are on to week 7 now. So
week 7?
Yeah, so we missed last week, which would have been week 6.
Yeah.
To week 7. So how are you feeling?
Well,
still on 13. So week 7, if you want to be on track to getting 100.
Oh, yeah, okay.
52 weeks in the year. So you probably need to be about 13.6, something like that.
Oh, so I'm like right below the line. So I should have progressed a little bit more. So be like
exactly.
So, and unfortunately, there's been no more points. So as I was saying, there's been a bit of injury going around as well with the back and the knee and everything else. So a lot of my challenges are dependent on it. So heavy squatting or heavy rowing. A lot of that has sort of gone by the wayside. That's okay. I still haven't gotten into my runs as well. So
yeah, well, you did one, and then you played soccer afterwards. And messed up your knee.
Messed up my knee. So of course it happened. So it's a little bit annoying.
It was the soccer that ruined it, right? It wasn't the actual running.
No, it was the actual soccer. It wasn't running at all. So that's even worse.
That's on you.
So that's unfortunate, but that was what happens. What about you? So you're already on 14. You were already quite ahead of the curve.
So for the Melbourne week, we didn't even mention Doherty's.
Oh, well, while we're talking about the fitness challenge, we went to Doherty's. If you don't know what Doherty's is a franchise down in Melbourne, and I was trying to think if there's any others in any states. But across Victoria, there's a couple of gyms famous for, I guess, a lot of the bodybuilders and fitness people.
Yeah, so that was using on the walls.
And the gym is not like a normal gym. It's not a normal everyday aircon like where you would go
streamlined.
Yeah, it's a little bit dirty. They've got a lot of machines. They've got a lot of equipment. It wasn't busy when we were there. It can get really, really packed in there though.
Okay.
And it's built into like just tunnels, just concrete tunnels underneath the city essentially.
Yeah, well, underneath the railway, so you hear the trains.
The trains go over. It's got a little bit of like a rocky boxing ring sort of feel to it, and there is a boxing gym just next door to it as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's dingy, it's dark, but it's for people who haven't been there before. I'd actually recommend it. It's pretty cheap. It's $10 for like a pass. That's cheaper than going to probably like a bigger gym elsewhere. So
so we went there, but it was a bit of a play around session, to be honest.
It wasn't we weren't getting any points that day. No. And Stephen was training with $600 shoes. So.
Yeah, right. Stephen. Yeah, so I basically for that whole week was a write-off for me. Didn't do anything, which was kind of good. It was one of those like enforced breaks.
Yeah.
That we don't really take.
Yep, the ones that we've talked about, but that we don't take. Yep.
Yeah, so that's me doing my break. Not that I particularly needed it right then. I wasn't feeling as sore as you were.
Yep.
But yeah, it was still good. The problem with it, of course, is, and you've mentioned this before many times, however long you take off, about half that time is what it takes to get back into it.
Yeah.
So yeah, my first 3 or 4 sessions were just that, you just don't have the energy. You don't have the.
So you're currently underplaying your score.
Yeah.
So,
exactly.
okay.
So yeah, all that being considered.
Here we go. He's gonna make it an 8. He's gonna make it a.
It's an 8.
18
points.
Dang, and he did that today. You got the extra points today.
Yesterday.
What?
It wasn't today. It was the dips from yesterday.
Oh, it was dips. You did do the dips. You put it up on YouTube. Apologies.
Yeah.
A double pointer and 2 points, so 4 points.
2 points and a double pointer. So, yeah, that's on YouTube if you want to see me doing some dips. If you also want to see me failing at muscle ups.
You're so close. You were so close. You were like that one on the video. You were very, very close. So the second one wasn't.
No. So the thing is, I've always really struggled with the form for muscle ups. I've never been good at it. One of the things I think that plays a little bit of a factor, is me just making excuses, but still.
Always, yep.
Is the bar. Because I'm 6'1", and so the bars are always just that little bit too small. So I'm always having to always have my core a little bit tucked so that my feet aren't kicking the ground when I'm going in for the swing. But I
like to just point out that at this point, you made this point yesterday when we were doing the muscle ups, and you were telling me that the only reason I was doing the muscle ups was because I was shorter for it. At which point I proceeded to use the super short bar that were going up to like my nippies and doing muscle ups on it. So
yeah. So a big factor for me. Yeah. And I have done a muscle up before, so I know I can do it. You have, yeah. And I don't think I was particularly lean at that point. So and my. As far as pull-ups wise are concerned, I can do about the same amount of pull-ups in 3 minutes as you can. I would say you could probably do weighted pull-ups a bit heavier than me, but I'm not sure.
Maybe, and only by like a rep or two. Like it wouldn't be much in between.
Yeah. So strength. It's not the strength that's the problem. It's the form. So still got to work on that. And
but you're on 18 points. So. Oh yeah, for me to get any points from the muscle up, I need to get 8 plus. So
yeah, exactly. So that's the thing. Like my muscle up challenge is a little bit easier than yours, and that's just, I suppose, if I had done this in the past, I probably would have put it at a similar level, which you did 5, 6, and 8. Is that correct?
4, 6, and 8.
4, 6, and 8. So I did 2, 4, and 6.
Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see how that progresses.
Yeah. Other than that. Ticking along on most things, but still just got to put in the time, effort.
Well, I'm gonna sit myself down, plan out December. What are the goals? What's the next future? And then see how I'm actually gonna get a couple more points. So
Perfect.
That'll be it.
Yeah, want to see that getting to 20 soon.
Ooh, let's see if my back doesn't explode and my knee doesn't break down and I'm paraplegic by next week. At this point, we haven't said it too many times, but episode 11, we're in double digits.
Yep.
If you want to subscribe,
do it.
Subscribe.
Just do it.
If you want to follow us on Facebook,
just do it.
Just do it. If you want to see us on a video, check out YouTube. Check out Instagram. Yeah. You can see our faces. Someone told me this yesterday that they said that they'd watch us on Instagram videos and didn't even know we did a podcast. Oof. And I was like,
very cool.
That's an interesting inspection since it's called Me Immortals Podcast, but that's okay. That's fine.
Very good.
You have your own take.
Yeah, I suppose the thing is I use YouTube a lot, so I know my way around that. So I've been putting the videos on YouTube, and I use that a lot more. So that's where most of my focus has been putting stuff on. Yep. You're a bit more connected with the Instagram.
Facebooky, as Jocko says it.
Facebooky.
Yeah, if you've never listened to the very end, like you know how he's got 20 minutes of crap talking at the very end on like his products and stuff, which I find it. Anyways, at the very end, normally when they talk about follow us on Facebook, he doesn't say follow us on Facebook. He goes follow us on the Facebooky.
Okay, very good. Well, follow us on that as well.
Yeah, so follow us everywhere, and Up to this point in time, we've had comments in the past from people asking us to talk about certain things, and we did so with Jeffrey's sort of commentary.
Yeah.
If you got any ideas or thoughts or things that you want to talk to, or people to talk to as well, let us know. Message, comment, like, and if it's insulted you about Vegemite, Apple, you can leave a comment, I guess, but probably prefer you not to.
Just leave.
Yeah, just leave. Yeah, just stop listening now. Cool. That's it. All right, one out.
All right, Kyrin out.